Let's talk about text elements in this session. Text elements, or text tags, are generally used to wrap words, phrases, and so on. They are typically written inside typography tags, such as H1 to H6, P tags, and div tags. Typography tags are more macro. They use for large blocks of text, while text elements are more micro. They use for words and phrases. They are usually inline elements. This is easy to understand because you are dealing with short things like words and phrases, so they are generally inline elements. Fair enough. Text tags are relatively simple, but there are quite a few of them, so I divided them into two categories. One category is the text tags we commonly use, and the other is those we won't use as often. Let's first look at the commonly used text tags. The first one is the EM tag, which is used to emphasize content that needs special attention. Let me write a P tag and add some text. To save time, I'll just copy and paste instead of typing everything out. The secret to mastering front-end is subscribing to Codex channel. That's true. Now, which part of this sentence needs emphasis? Clearly, it's Codex. So I'll add an EM tag around it. Save it. Now let's check it in the browser. Codex turns into italics. But I'll ask you, do you think the italic effect important? Actually, not at all, because styles can be defined with CSS. What's important is the semantic meaning. The EM tag tells the browser and the screen readers that the content inside needs to be emphasized. That's the key point. Next, we have the strong tag, which is used to mark content that is very important. It is similar to EM. Both highlight content that needs to be emphasized, which is usually important content. The difference is that strong tag has a stronger tone than EM. Let's try using the strong tag. I'll write a P tag and a sentence. Want to achieve more? Keep learning every day. Here, I'll add a strong tag around keep learning. Now, it has a bold effect. But again, the style doesn't matter much. What matters is the semantic meaning. Let's move on to the next tag. This one is span. This tag is special. It has no semantic meaning. It's just a general container used to wrap short phrases. It's similar to the div container in typography tags, which also has no semantic meaning. Think of div as a big container and a span as a small container. Let's try using span. I'll first write a P tag with the following sentence. The three major front-end frameworks or libraries, Angular, React, and Vue. I'll wrap these three in span tags. At this point, some of you might wonder, since span has no semantic meaning, why would I wrap these in span? Of course, there's a reason. Let me give you a scenario. For example, if I want to change the color of these three names to red, in that case, I might need to use something to wrap them. So, since I don't want to emphasize them semantically, I can just use span and then apply a CSS style to change the color. Let me show you a simple example. You don't need to memorize this for now. I'll introduce CSS in the future course. I'll add a thing called inline style attribute. It directly applies CSS styles to the specific HTML element, like here, span element. And I give it an attribute value called color red. Once saved, you can see here that all three names become red color. Once again, don't worry about how to write CSS. We will learn it in the future course. So these three are the commonly used text tags. The rest are all less commonly used text tags that we don't usually use. I've summarized them in my notes for you, so you don't need to memorize them. After this lesson, just refer to these notes, try writing out all these text elements and see their effects. That will give you a rough impression, and you can memorize them when you use them in practical projects in the future.